All right, let's do this. That's about the sentiment that you're probably going to have during this Gemini full moon with the Mars in retrograde Scorpio, because there's going to be a lot of emotional turmoil. However, you as a Scorpio are well equipped to deal with emotional turmoil. Plus, you have the insight and oversight that everything is always in transition, right? Your card in the tarot is the death card, so that basically means you accept life and death as like one unit. Death is a part of life, just like the night is a part of the day. And you know that. So, whatever happens with Gemini full moon, with Mars retrograde, making us revise decisions we made or whatever, you're going to be well equipped to deal with that. And even if emotions are running high, you kind of keep your composure. That doesn't mean that you don't feel like passion and aggression at times. It means that you're well equipped to control it and to work with people that can't. That being said, it is a general reading, so if the message doesn't resonate with you, feel free to drop the message. If it does resonate with you, I'm glad. Drop a comment, like, and subscribe. Let's see what is coming into manifestation for you in the DNA spread. That is the soul coming into manifestation through the tree of life from the 0 to the 10. I know my tree of life starts with the 0, not with the 1. That's a numerology problem, and I explained in a different video. Look out for that. Let's see what your soul decided to incorporate in this life cycle, in this moon phase. Nine of Pentacles. It's about personal gain, what you're gaining from this. It's time to embrace what truly makes you flourish. That is a very positive energy to embrace. Like your soul says, it's time to take a piece for yourself, and not in a tricky way, but rather look out for what is truly making you happy, what you truly want to manifest. Very beautiful. Now, what do you need to incorporate to get there? That is in the spot of the 9. That is the lesson, right? That is the Four of Swords in reverse. Truce in reverse. It is struggling with taking out the pace a little. Maybe for you, it's time to not, give up the fight in a sense. I mean, the Four of Swords is not talking about defeat. That is the Five of Swords. The Four of Swords is talking about your mind reaching an impasse when you're like, fighting will get you nowhere, right? So the Four of Swords in reverse is you being very, very aware of the restrictions and limitations you have in a given situation and how to work with that. Maybe struggling a little with working with that. Let's see how many like fire cards we pick up on here, because the fire is the one pushing against that wall. And the Four of Swords in reverse basically means it's it's enough pushing through hard times for you. You're kind of using this restructuring right now to your advantage. I mean, it's time for personal gain, right? Now, let's see how you're manifesting this in your reality in the spot of the 10. There's the Two of Cups. That is love. Love coming in and commitment coming in. Very beautiful. So it seems like you're taking a chance on some relationship or commitment here that can be a business relationship also, right? It's something that you love, that you feel an emotional connection to. So if it's a project that you're very much invested in, which you're not just in because, um, not just in because you're passionate about it because you want to do it, but rather you want to do it because you feel it's the right thing to do, right? So that can be a relationship or a business relationship. Romantic or business doesn't really matter. It's like with the Four of Swords in reverse, it's your time to take a chance on that to make it worth your while, because it is time for you to embrace your own happiness in a sense. That's a very positive start for a time that seems very much you know in turmoil here. But for you, it is worth, like, there's something worth fighting for here. And yeah, it's love, and it's what you gain from that love, something that makes you real, not only happy but gives you a sense of stability. Now let's see how the energies are balancing around this to get a clearer like vision of what is happening here. And the spot of the one that is the idea that gets you going, that's a 10 of pentacles. Wow. So your soul decided it's time for your personal gain, and what's getting you going is basically the same sort of energy, a little more evolved, because the 10 of pentacles is talking about sharing that gain. What you gained with the Nine of Pentacles, you now want to share it. So it's about family, legacy, long-term stability, closing out that chapter. It's like you want to reach that top, you want to reach that peak, or maybe you've even reached that peak and now you you are deciding what to do with that. Let's see how this is balanced so we get a clearer vision on what that is. So it seems like you're well off, or at least your mindset is very much on success and stability. So very earthy energy here. And right now there's no shift in the picture. Let's see. Let's see what you're working through here and how that 10 of Pentacles is balanced. So you're working for that success in life and maybe even already reached it. It's like you're very far along the process here. Let's see what in the spot of the two is kind of confronting that 10 of Pentacles here. It's the Hermit. The Hermit is describing a learning phase that you have to go through by yourself. You're learning something about how to reach that. There is some solitude in that Hermit, because the Hermit is, it's Hermit. It's like he's the one pulling back, going into the cave, figuring shit out, But it's also talking about your own inner truth, right? And it's largely linked to your idea of success. It's very successful upper half, which is determining your inner constitution, your mindset that you're approaching the situation with. Now I'm very curious on how this is playing out. Means like you are learning a lot on how to secure your personal gain long term to make it a legacy, right? So you are successful, from what it seems here, you are successful, you're doing something you love, or maybe you just love success. I mean, who doesn't? But you're getting new insights on how to stretch the Nine of Pentacles into a 10 of Pentacles, right? To leave that legacy. Like you've basically, maybe you've accumulated some assets and now you want to secure them long term, or you're learning how to reinvest to make your money work for you, or make your assets, whatever, it doesn't have to be money, right? Make that work for you. Or maybe you just reached a point in your life where you're very you're cool with yourself, you love yourself, you're proud of what you achieved, and now you're going into a phase where you want to share that, where you want to gain long-term stability, right? So pulling inward, trying to figure out what you need to do to get there, to take it to the next level, very freaking interesting. Let's see what you are learning about how to generate that wealth. In the spot of the three, that is the idea that you have about this balancing out. Like, what do you need to learn to get there? That is the Aeon. The Aeon in reverse. In the Rider-Waite deck, this is the Judgment card, but it means like the judgment before the creator, in a sense. So it's talking about that meta level of existence where you just have the oversight, the entire thing playing out. And since this is in reverse, it seems like you're trying to see the bigger picture here. Like, you are very well aware that you haven't caught on to the bigger picture yet, but there must be a bigger picture, right? So that is what this is telling me, is like, you need to make a judgment call, and you need to learn something to get the full overview on what it is that you want to leave behind, what it is that you need to get there, to get this transition, or like build your legacy, right? So that judgment energy, that oversight from the astral realm, right? The meta level of existence is very aware of you, that for you, you're very aware of needing to gain that oversight. Something is delaying that oversight, though. That's why the Aeon is in reverse. It's like you basically you feel you need to learn something to have a full view so you can level up that, that end game strategy in a sense. And that's very fucking mature, right? So it's like, you, even if you don't see the bigger picture yet, you have a drive to build that bigger picture and to get that insight. So the hermit is learning and learning how to, like, to puzzle, to complete the puzzle, basically, right? So that is a beautiful thing, and that is a very mature inner working that you're having here. Is like, whatever happens here, you're going to be equipped to deal with that. Now let's see how you're manifesting that. We're going further into manifestation. In the spot of the 4, that's the idea that gives you stability, that is largely relating to where you come from and where you feel home in your 4th house, basically. 7 of discs in reverse, that is failure in the Thoth deck that I'm using here in the Aleister Crowley version. 7 of Pentacles is often a card for taking stock, right, and evaluation, especially when it's in reverse right here in the 4th house. It's like the Hermit is trying to figure out how to build a home, basically, and also taking a look at what home and stability means for you, so you can like adapt, right? So you're thinking about how to generate a legacy, and you instinctively know that there's something you need to change your perspective on. Like, you want to gain a higher level perspective on how to generate that legacy and how this works. So the Hermit energy is pulling you into not exactly solitude, but like going inside yourself to find that path, find out what you truly want, and it's leading you to analyzing what worked for you and what didn't work for you, in a sense of creating a home and creating stability, right? So to build your legacy, you're taking a closer look at what worked in your home, right? You want to build something that is only taking the good parts, so you're very much learning from that failure. You're flipping a failure from the past around into an insight. That's very beautiful that this 7 of discs is in reverse, because that means you're flipping it upside down. You're turning a negative into a positive here by learning from it with that Hermit card, which is very fucking mature, right? So whatever it is that you're going through right now, you're taking a closer look at what didn't work in the past, but you don't let it pull you down. You realize it's worth acting upon to not make the same mistake, or the same mistake other people made, and to build your legacy the right way. It's very freaking beautiful. Anyway, and the spot of the 5, the thing that is causing a little friction there. And since you're so aligned, the spot of the 5 is actually something that is causing you friction, or maybe something you need to address to get the full overview, with that Aeon in reverse. Because 5 is for change, so that's why it's conflict or confrontation, both. Let's see what energy you're playing with in this. Well, the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups in reverse is satiety in this deck. I sometimes call it like oversaturation. It's a very positive card, but especially if it's in reverse, it's kind of overflowing or a stalemate, or, it's like, you feel saturated, right? It's like there's nowhere else to go. It's like the credits in a video game. It's like, it feels real good, but when you think about what's coming next, it's like, okay, we've got to start over. So there is like, it's a little bittersweet, especially when it's in reverse, right? So So this, what is causing that friction for you and causing that longing to find your purpose and like get the overview, is basically this idea of this can't be the end of it. This just can't, right? This is not as good as it gets. We have to do something with that now. Like, what did I build this for if not to work with this, right? um, so that 10 of cups is also like in relation to that fourth house, where you're like, okay, what in the family situation, because the 10 of cups also is a card for family, or like the people in your field, let's say, the all the emotional connections you're having at once, you know. So what emotional connections didn't exactly make me happy in the past, like that. So it's still 10 of cups right here. It's not that you're not happy, especially when it's in the spot of the five. It's more you listening very closely to what you, yeah, what actually worked, what did make you happy. Like you're listening to your emotions when you're analyzing your upbringing or your experiences, you know. And your sense of stability is like, what do I want to leave behind, or what do I want to build from here? And you're using your emotions as a guide, which is exactly what they're here for. And now it makes even more sense that this truth is in reverse, because I mean, you are in contemplation mode, but you don't feel like you're at a stalemate. You know something has to be done. You don't want to get stuck in this, you know, in this contemplation. You want to actually act upon um, the the insights you're gaining. This is very beautiful, because you're really using memories for what they're here for, which is your past is here for you to make an informed decision in the present for the future, right? That's the basically the function of memories. It's like, and you're using it, and it seems like you're using it the right way. Um, that 10 of cups in reverse is like, it feels like a good card. It can be that, you know, when you're reliving, like when you're thinking of something and it makes you feel unhappy, well, it's not exactly a good feeling. But if you're viewing it from a hermit's perspective, is always, okay, so what do I learn from that? And that's a very mature and beautiful way. It's like, do I want to integrate this in my long-term plan? You know, the 10 and the 10 working together here, right? You want to create wealth, but not at the cost of emotional fulfillment, right? So it could be a thought where you're like, okay, now I've achieved this. Now I have to realize I need to set my life up so I can actually be emotionally fulfilled and not just keep this machine going and then realize, you know, I never had time for my kids or whatever, you know. It's like at a certain point you want to really care about what you truly care about, right? If the 9 of Pentacles is fulfilled, now what to do with it? Do you buy yourself some more wealth or some more time, which can also be wealth? Like, what does that wealth mean to you? And you're very much um, analyzing that in respect to what feels right. And you're ending up with that 2 of Cups with the love here. So it's very beautiful. It seems like you're caring a lot about the underlying emotion. So it needs to feel right. Whatever you're building here, it needs to feel right. Now let's see what you're building here. In the spot of the 7, that is the idea that you attach to or what you identify with. Also, it can be your strong suit, right? So what your character is relying upon. So this, because the 7 is the number for identity. It means like what differentiates you from another, right? So it's your ego and yourself, you know, at the same time. Let's see. That is the Empress. You're worth it. You're nurturing. You're self-confident. That is good energy to be attached to. You want to be nurturing. So that's kind of what drives you here is you know, wanting to provide, to use that which you gained to nurture someone or like to be of service. If it's not relationship you're looking for, then it's something else. But it is that idea of like, I have so much to give now. I want to give it. I want to use it. It's very beautiful. It can also mean that you're attached to an Empress person, because, I mean, there's love here, It is about a balance, about a relationship to another. So it could mean that you're very much attached to this person, which seems like a good thing if it's an Empress, because that's the divine feminine, which can also be male, right? So it's someone that is comforting, nurturing you in a way. It's an emotional backbone, someone to hold space for your vulnerability, right? So roles can be reversed. But it is the divine feminine energy, right? It is someone that is receptive to you and that you feel like you know, can rely upon. They hold space for whatever it is you're building. And you're very much in building mode, right? So very interesting. Being attached to an empress, that's that's a good thing. Let's see in the spot of the eight what you are, you know, what you're having a lot of right now in terms of energy, or what is well, opening you up to abundance in a sense. That is getting out of your head about stuff. The Nine of Swords is the card for cruelty. It's when your mind is playing tricks on you. Is when you go into that downward spiral of like, I have to think of this, I have to think of this, I have to think of this, right? And getting out of that energy is it's basically telling you not to overstress about um, this seven of discs here, right? About like, um, yeah, what you what your mother did to you in a sense. Doesn't have to be your mother. I'm just saying, like, it is still facing an empress, so it is tackling your idea of the divine feminine, like how nurturing was portrayed. And it could mean that whatever it is you're building right now, you want to build something different than what you've experienced in the past around a feminine energy, right? Which doesn't have to be a female, it is a feminine energy. So it is the idea of nurturing and being accepting and empowered in being vulnerable and all that stuff, and being sensitive. So you want, in your vision of wealth, you want this to be different. You want to not stress out about whether you or not you're accepted. You don't want to be measured by your success, but by what you're doing with it, by your intention, how to use that success to be of benefit to the people around you and whatever you want to build here. So you're coming, like, you're manifesting a love that is so not what you were used to in the past that you want to build on, or you're manifesting from that place, where you're like, I'm gonna do this differently. I have the funds now, or whatever, or the resources now, to build upon this, uh, a legacy that I want to leave my kids or my community or whatever, you know. Um, that is very much not what I experienced in the past, which is interesting. Um, well, it doesn't exactly have to mean like you're changing it up completely, but it seems like what you're changing up in your vision for your long-term stability, for your future, and for the future of the people you're with, has to do with your idea of how to be an empress. And I don't know if it was you in the last reading that was a little like, um, dealing with their mommy issues or whatever. It's like, what type of nurturer do I want to be? How do I want to hold space for people? Like, I want to be sensitive. I want to be open and stuff like that. So you're very much looking to generate a legacy that is about more than just resources, but rather you're caring about you're caring about emotional availability, about confidence, about um, yeah, being deserving, being like self-worth. The empress is a lot of like having to do with self-worth, right? And Now, even though this idea of leaving a legacy can be triggered by an idea of value, of how to, you know, be of value, how to generate self worth in a sense, you don't want what you're generating here, like you don't want the physical things to be the measurement for it. You want that wealth to be something other than just material gain. Because you're manifesting love here, you're learning from that loving relationship that what you truly want is actually like more freedom. Like, what did you gain all of this resources for? To have more freedom. Now, how do you utilize that freedom, right? And this doesn't have to mean, like, for some, it might be, they might be in a situation where, like, yeah, but I, I don't have that. Like, well, I don't have that resources right now. I'm not a rich person, you know. It's like I'm not exactly talking about money. It can be like if you're watching this and you're like a 17-year-old guy that has shit figured out in their life, whatever, it's still, you're in that energy of having achieved something and now asking yourself what to do with it and trying to gain a bigger perspective on things by putting putting your past in perspective with your prospect of a future of like, how do I want to play this, you know? And I want it to be about more than just generating wealth. I want that, I know that wealth for me means integrating that divine feminine. It's like being truly of service and open and loving. So that's a beautiful thing right there. Now let's see in the spot of the six what you're realizing from that. Maybe I took it away already, but let's see. In the spot of the six, that is oscillating with that Eon card. So probably something um, you realize you have to realize. Does that make sense? It's like as an insight. It's like how to be creative and how to get there. It's the star in reverse. Yeah, the star in reverse is a little like the hermits, also talking about your purpose in life and the overall direction this is taking, right? So very much, you got a star in reverse, got an Aeon in reverse, you got that hermit that is willing to put that into action and to learn. So it's very much you asking yourself for a purpose, like what do I want my long-term vision to be here, right? And I don't want to be stressing out about women, for example, right? I don't want to be stressing out about the the nurturing aspects in my life. Rather, I want to incorporate them. So what I was missing in the past, or what I wasn't missing in the past, like maybe, yeah, it's like what I was missing in the past. I don't want to repeat. I want it to be better, right? I want to cross out all the things that do not make me happy, that are kind of overcompensating with that 10 of cups in reverse. And it feels like you're very committed to doing that. You're very committed to love here. You're very committed to um, holding that balance, to embracing something other than material gain in your long-term strategy. Whether or not you are rich already or you're just gonna be, with this energy, with this idea of wanting to be of service as an end goal, you're probably going to get rich, even if you're not yet. You know, it's like that is a beautiful motivation. So it's either a person in your life that is very much inspiring and nurturing you in a way that gets you out of your head, out of overthinking, which then triggers this upper half where you're like, this is the actual reason why I'm doing this, you know? So you don't want to get funds to just get funds. You know that there's an end goal behind of this. So you want the resources to be free and to share and to be of service. And that is very clear to you and you're acting on this. So even if you don't know right now where this path is going to take you, trying to figure out something about your purpose, and you know you have to gain a vision on a meta level for this, But it seems like whatever you're going through right now, um, probably your relationship, since it is about love, right? That is triggering that within you. But it can also be just that self love aspect. It's like, I want to be proud of myself. I want to love myself, not for what I've achieved, but what I've achieved it for. And this is what you're making up your mind about. And that's a very, very mature stance on picking a vision for the future. So for you, it is not so much about things going sideways, right? You're very well equipped to deal with whatever is going sideways, but it's rather that idea for you to revise your overall strategy for life, your long term vision, where you're like, okay, good, we made it to this checkpoint. Now what? Right? So, what person do I want to be? What am I actually doing this for? You you know by heart what you want to do this for. It's all for love. It's all for, you know, being able to share that love. Now, how do I gain the perspective on how to get there, right? And you're taking a closer look at what didn't work in the past, what didn't make you happy in the past, and what it was causing you troubles. But you got a strong backbone with that Empress energy here, that is a good example for what you want to incorporate long term, right? So even if you're not quite clear on your purpose yet, and you don't have that meta level thinking yet, you are working on that, learning from the past experience into what you want to bring into your future, and that is a very, very beautiful thing. You're manifesting your Two of Cups here, so that is a beautiful relationship, or a beautiful relationship to yourself. Amazing energy, Scorpio. That's a nice reading. Thank you so much. If that resonated with you, drop a comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my Instagram and TikTok channel at the Spiritual Daywalker, or at Daywalker Tarot. At Daywalker Tarot, I believe it is. You'll find me on both ways. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this to the end. You're amazing. Um, and enjoy this energy. That's very honorable of you, and it's going to take you a long way. I love you.